Yo, it's your boy Malik Assad. I'm chilling with
Who's Dollars?
Lucy.
McCoy Scott, the real McCoy, you already know.
Yeah. My boy.
El Chapo, man.
Y'all, today we're going to talk about the political election and the results, and we're going to talk about black business esteem. Can black people actually start businesses, or do we lack the resources that we need and or the self-esteem to believe in ourselves to do it? So, to start it off, McCoy had a very good point. He was talking about every case depends. Not all black people lack self-esteem to start a business, and not all black people as well have the resources to. So please break that down, my brother.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the cases, man, there's plenty of businesses, black-owned businesses that have been thriving throughout the years. That's nothing that's new, you know what I mean? But pertaining to lack of knowledge or esteem, yes, that is true. Some people, they don't know how to start up a business. They may have a good idea. They don't know which direction to go to. You know, they don't know, they might not have the funds, they feel like, you know, and that also may jump into the lack of knowledge, you know what I mean? The more knowledge, you know, you may get a grant based off, you know, whatever the case may be. You may get a funding through, you know, whatever they, you know, and still might get a chance to own a business or start something up. So I think, yeah, I think it all depends on the case.
All right, now personally, for yourself, what do you feel like is more of a block? The resources or your self-esteem in regards to starting a business?
I think now, regardless of color or race, I think it starts from yourself. You know what I mean? It all really depends how bad you want it. You know what I mean? Some people started off from nothing. You know what I mean? Really ground zero with no resources, with nothing, and they still made a way. There's always really a way. It all depends on how bad you want it, how deep you're gonna dive, and what ends you're gonna reach to get to that goal. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's nothing really truly impossible, in my opinion.
So do you believe belief is more important than quote unquote the appearance of opportunity and resources? It's all about belief. You believe your belief can make opportunities for you?
I do. You have to see it in your mind. You have to now really ultimately believe that you're gonna get it done. And once you see it, because your mind is very powerful, what you think and your thoughts really create your reality. So if you really see yourself open a business and now you put in the work, you have to put in the work, right? So like, dreams are not created without the work. You know what I mean? You can't get that without putting in that work. So again, that's my opinion. I feel like, you know, if you really want something truly bad, you will find a way to get it up.
Real nigga shit. Real nigga shit.
You know what I mean? Who I'm passing the mic to. It's been McCoy, man. I hope y'all, you know, appreciate the message.
Tag yourself.
You know what I
man.
mean?
Tag yourself. All that nice stuff.
Tag, all praise be to the Most High. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's all I gotta say.
Yes.
That's who represent me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you heard it from the real McCoy himself. So yes, he believes that your belief system within whatever you're doing trumps whatever resources. Now the reason I agree with that, I'm gonna pass the mic to Moosey next, but the reason I agree with that more so is because, again, we have history to show us. There's a lot of people that had close to nothing, but all they had was a simple belief in what they was doing, and it seemed like the opportunities and the resources came to them the more they put in the work towards what they wanted. So is there sort of a magic trick going on? When you believe in something, it attracts resources and opportunities to you? We need to dive into that. So Moosey, your opinion. Oh, he rolling the split for you. So L, you want to go? You good? All right,
I can say a little something on that.
Yeah, please.
I feel like with the optimistic, you know, having an optimistic mindset and then putting in the work, and that's where luck happens. You know what I mean? That's where, yeah, luck. You need a little bit of luck, right? But along with the luck, right, the magic,
Reap your benefits.
you gonna reap your benefits, right? So, yeah, you can't ask for a miracle. I'm not saying miracles don't happen, right? But you got to put in the work, have the belief, and then every dog has his day. I believe that. You know what I mean? If you're being righteous, you know what I mean? You'll be rewarded. Life is all about your input is your output. You know what I'm saying?
Tell the importance of consistency with all that being said. Can all that be done without consistency?
You need discipline. And I'm not the most disciplined person. That's something I'm working on. I'm 28, you know. every day is a battle. You gotta really try to work that skill.
Yes.
You know, gotta have discipline. That's the only way to keep your motivation. And with discipline comes self-love. You know what I'm saying? Because self-love is gonna require that discipline. You know what I mean, to get to where you want. So, yeah.
What gets you back on track when you feeling like you lacking discipline in the things you want to do in life?
Yeah, but you gotta realize, yo, I'm hitting rock bottom. You know what I mean? I'm hitting, let me get back on track. Right. You gotta be aware of what's really going on. You gotta be aware of your actions and be accountable. Like, yo, what am I doing? Like, ultimately you put yourself in the situations that you're in. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you could be accountable and then like, yo, things are not going my way, but what can I do to better it? Life goes on too. Like, time is passing by, so it's like, can't really sit and harp on shit. Life is ups and downs. Like, you know what I mean? When shit going bad, you gotta know good is coming, but you gotta just sometimes take a step back and see what the fuck is going on. Like, yo, what am I doing? Like,
self-diagnostic.
Sometimes you could be so cloudy-minded, like you don't know what's going on, or like,
Do you agree? There was a famous Stoic philosopher named Epictetus. He said to control the things you can control and to not try to control the things you can't. Whatever you can't control, leave it alone. Whatever you can't control, focus on that. What is your thoughts on that? That sounds kind of like what you...
Yeah, that's 100% true. 100% true. You know what I mean? That's how you keep your peace. You know what I mean? If you fucking worried about shit that you can't control, right? I mean, that sounds crazy when you think about it, right? That sounds crazy. Or just gonna lean it up, so grab a smoke. I don't want to be smoking on the camera.
No, go ahead, man. This is the real world podcast. Well, whatever.
The real world podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Real.
Hit the spliff one time.
Niggas do cocaine and then do a podcast right after.
What y'all think about it though?
Right. So McCoy touched on a lot of beautiful points, man. And before I get on mine, I definitely want to give Moosie's perspective, because prior to McCoy pulling up, Moosie went into values and how bringing great personal values into a work atmosphere creates a even better work environment, which makes a more successful company overall. So before we get to, we passed the camera, Moosie was about to go. So yes, Moosie, what do you feel like as a black man, especially a purebred African, you're a pure breed. How do you feel like our self-esteem matters more so than the resources in terms of us creating a business? Because black people historically have not been known to create businesses. Now, we used to blame it on racism and the conditions of America, but now in a more liberal, open society where people are now granted equal opportunity for the most part, do you feel like it's a lack of self-esteem which stops us from creating businesses, or a lack of resources? Please dive into that.
Got you.
My brother.
Alright, what's good, y'all? Let me back this shit up a little bit. So, my name's Moosie. So, how I look at it is, as a people, we gotta really understand what we want to accomplish and how we can go about it. Yeah, we have like years of trauma and things that held us back, but now we're kind of like in a golden age where we could kind of see for ourselves what other people like us have been doing and try to blueprint that. But not everybody has the same blueprint for success, so you can kind of examine many different areas of where people have been successful in their businesses, as well as being able to learn from their lessons and their failures. Failure is the greatest teacher. So if you can learn from what they did, what they didn't do, areas that they didn't touch, or demographics that they kind of left out, or a lot of people like to focus on their people, which is understandably, but business wise you got to gauge all corners. So for example, let's say Amazon is literally like an Alibaba. What's some other foo-foo shits? basically like Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's literally sells secondhand items. Basically, they make it themselves and they just sell it. So they have their own version of Oreos and all that shit. So that's the same thing that we can do, but when we do it, we're looked upon as counterfeit, fraud, or bootlegging.
Like Sean John and Rockaway.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, when we make affordable shit, people look at it as low value instead of affordable.
Yup. But then when, like, I hate to bring race into it, but it does play a big factor. But when, look around real quick, when some of these white people do it, it's more so nah, I'm just giving back to the community. You know, I was underprivileged my whole life. I just want to give the kids something that they could wear, they could look up to. You know, that they can feel accomplished wearing. Like Shaq, when he did that shit with the Reeboks, nobody had any idea that was gonna happen. Nobody thought him selling his shits in Walmart, Kmart, when that shit was still open, was gonna be such a big impact. Even when KD and Kyrie started selling they shoes, they was going for $100 a pop. KD's was like $70. They made it accessible to everybody. It wasn't just, all right, I'm gonna have these Air Mags that's, you know, that was in a movie, or these bread ones that just keep on dropping, these shoes that keep on, I'm just gonna keep increasing the price. So that's what I realized in business is you kind of have to realize your goal. Of course, you want to make a profit, you want to be sustainable, you want to grow with as the company grows. But as for black people, I should say, when you make a business, you don't pay yourself until the 3rd, 4th year. So if you can go 3-4 years without a paycheck to start your own business, to put everything in it, to basically drain your account, put everything you have, all your chips in, to be able to basically live your dream. A lot of people don't, like McCoy said, have the discipline or the
Consistency.
long-term future, the vision to see, all right, can I go 3 years without paying myself, I'm gonna pay my employees, I'm gonna pay where I get my goods from, my suppliers, all that. If you shipping shit in from overseas, tariffs and all that shit, if you can live with that, that's cool. You should start your own business, but a lot of people don't realize that until it's too late. They're halfway into their business, starving, can't feed a family, can't feed themselves, and they're just like, I'm just gonna give this up, I'm gonna go quit, I'm gonna start my other job, I'm gonna get a side job to fund my business. But then they get lost in the side job and not the main job, which was your own business. So yeah, you get another job, start working on that. Next thing you know, you're in it 3-4 years, your business hasn't made any, you haven't invested in it, you just have been low-key investing in yourself, but in a negative way. So I feel like that's the biggest problem with trying to start your own business today as opposed to I feel like back in the days, it was way easier to start a business. Granted, funds were lower, cost of living was way lower, so you had more wiggle room to, all right, if I gotta pay $2 to open this storefront and just sell paint, or like just a stationery store, I'm gonna sell anything y'all need, literally anything, 99-cent store, whatever, they was still making profit because everybody generally in that neighborhood, they fucked with you, or they understood, all right, yo, I don't gotta go take a bus ride to pick up a fucking measuring tape or a paintbrush. I could just go to homie down the block that just opened his shit up and get back to the community and see how that's gonna affect others. Of course, that's long-term issues, and you have to see if that person is getting back to the community and all that stuff, but that's how I kind of figure out that's what you got to do about that.
Nah, I definitely think there's like stigmas as far as like why prices get upped on value, like in the hood, things that cost more are looked at as better. Like that's why people wear more designer or whatever the case may be, high qualities. As it costs a lot of money, it's expensive to get those fine garments, I guess, for your company. But I think that's almost the beauty in marketing and business, that it all depends on how good you market. Like you could have anything, you could be selling anything. Like if you can market and brand it well, you can reach and you know how to reach your audience, you're able to really grow your business. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, anything like that. And I think that's the beauty of this age. Like you said, this is like the golden age of starting up a business. There's so much information out, there's so many outlets and shit like that. So like, it goes back to like, yo, you gotta just really find a way. You know what I mean? Really just find a way.
That's why I wanted to ask y'all. Real quick. This is a question for my boy Moosey and McCoy, because y'all brought up a good point. Now, this is also something that we could say is a detriment to the black community, because for example, when we start businesses in the black community, it seems like we're forced to sell luxury instead of affordability. Because when we sell affordability, we be like, oh, that shit cheap, that's some bootleg, that's knockoff. But then when we sell luxury and outprice our people, they be like, oh, why you don't make shit for us, man? We don't got money for that. But then when we sell affordable shit, they, we don't like to buy it. So what is it that the luxury consumerism culture and black culture is its own worst enemy for those in the black culture that want to make their own business? Because if you make a business, I have to sell to my people who are into luxury. And my business, if it's not geared to luxury, it's not going to be successful in my own community. So I'm going to have to outsource that and sell it to different communities who I don't fuck with just to make a profit.
But that's true, but that's not always the case. You know what I mean? Like, if you could just, it's all about your message and how you go about it and reach your audience. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the most fly shit. It's all about how you really put it on too. Like, they don't have to know that it's some cheap shit. Not cheap shit, but like, you didn't pay the most bread for it. But like, if you putting it on and you making it look nice, you have a nice following behind it, good message, you can still get over. You know what I mean? Now, when you're talking about business and making bread, yeah, you have a black-owned business, but that doesn't mean you have to have black dollars coming in. Like, I mean, you're trying to win, right? At the end of the day, like, sometimes people may not get on it until they see somebody else on it. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, you're just trying to win and start some shit up. You know what I mean? You got to feed and appreciate whoever's, feed into your business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Be a humanitarian business instead of
showing love to you. Like,
that's
you know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree with that. I agree. That's actually a good call down. So, because I always be like, damn, like niggas ain't gonna want to buy this shit if it's affordable. But then I don't want to outprice niggas either. But like you said, you gotta buy whoever chooses you choose them. That's a good thing.
But you also gotta realize, like, the expensive quality or like the other brands that are priced higher, they got equity in their business. They've been doing this for years, or they got enough following where I could up my price and they'll still buy it. Or I could go low. I could lower my material pricing. I could go a tier lower on my usual materials, get a little cheaper, and they'll still.
They won't even notice.
Yeah, they won't. Or even if they do notice, they won't care. They be like, alright, fuck it, I'm still gonna get it because I've been getting it for the last how many years, or I fuck with the company. Right. So as long as you're able to, I guess, build that equity, you can really do whatever you want. Like if Gucci decided today to start selling like Canal Street, whatever merch and everything, it will be not an issue in the world. People still buy it, people still rock it just because of the brand it comes with. Right. So if you pride yourself on luxury or elegance or high fashion, as they say, you can always find a way to not be authentic. I'll say that literally, because if I'm paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a bag, and for me it's not high quality leather or like something that's durable, or just what I'm saying, then it really negates the cost.
But when you start up a business, you gotta know that's already in mind. Like you gotta already know that this is what I'm going up against. This is my competitors. Like, yeah, I'm going into a field that's very populated, you know what I mean, whatever the business is. And you got to know that Gucci started somewhere too. They had a day one. Everyone started somewhere. So if you really going into it and you want to make it work, you got to know what you're going up against, and you got to find some way to combat it.
But that's what I'm saying. You got to figure out a way how to be able to counteract their large market and the way that they're able to price everything. Like they got their shit in Century 21s and all this shit where you could kind of get it for a lower price. But if I know my quality is high, then that's different.
This sound like the problem Kanye was going through
with Adidas.
Like he was trying to break into the luxury market, but then he was saying, I can't afford the same garments. I'm trying to bring the prices to affordable prices, but still have that luxury tint to it. And that's my thing, is like, as black people, is that a trap that every time we make a business, we gotta make luxury items, or people we consider it like useless or cheap and shit?
That's a trap you sell to yourself. You know what I mean? It's all however you look at it, however you view it.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You talk about Kanye. When he came in the game, niggas wasn't really fucking with him, his sound and shit like that.
Right.
He had to keep grinding, whatever the case may be. He had to find his sound, find his niche. Get how you get in, get your way in the league, get your way in the door, and that's how I see it. We talking about starting some shit up. If you really want to start it up, you gotta like, yo, I gotta go against the odds type shit.
Yeah. Facts.
Know your odds. Don't go into not
You
know.
gotta have a plan.
Gotta have a plan. Now, how you come up with that plan? That's the hard part. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You see, now that's my point right there. Can you blame a black business owner for not trying to cater to black people if those said black people are not trying to support the business because they don't view it as good enough?
I think it only looks bad if your mission's like, no, I don't support black people. If you're saying like, nah, I'm not geared towards black people, then I think that's a problem. But like, if you started some shit up and they're just not fucking with it,
all right,
who fault is that? Like,
yeah, okay.
'Cause I ain't gonna lie, I look at that like if niggas open a Mexican restaurant or some shit in the hood where it's just like, alright, where it's just like, alright, I don't know why they got a random Mexican spot in the hood. Alright, I don't really fuck with Mexican food. I'm not even gonna fuck with them niggas.
Yeah.
They not, well, it is kind of, also depends on where you place your store at. If you place your store in a neighborhood where you're not attracting them, then it's kind of like you kind of send this up a failure type in a way.
that's your fault.
Yeah, that's like bad.
But unless you're trying to do it on some, alright, I may not fuck with the people over here, or I might not have that many interactions with the people that live in this neighborhood, but I'm just trying to get them something that I know they'll enjoy. So it's like, even though they don't fuck with me, I'm still gonna do my best to engage them,
That goes into marketing and shit like that. How well you're gonna engage with the people.
If you got a restaurant,
like that.
you gotta do like samples and all that shit. You a little bakery or just like whatever. You just gotta do a way. Like there's mad shit you could do. You could fund like in the summertime when they got them close the streets down for the little parades and festivals or whatever they got. You could be a food vendor there. Like, yo, I got tacos for everybody. Try it out. You feel me? I already got my bread. They already paid me for this, but I'm catering this. You'll have some tacos on me. See how it is.
So what do you think is more important, marketing to culture or marketing for profit?
Culture is gonna get you the profit.
Right.
I feel like
that's what I'm saying. Specifically for our culture, we know that if we're gonna market to our culture, predominantly the culture is luxury goods.
And they're trendy.
So it's like what's hot right now, what's lit, and if you don't fit that, then you're pretty much out the game, right? So is it worth marketing to that and investing all your time and money into that culture versus, like McCoy said, generally, people that fuck with this as a human being will fuck with this, and that's who I'm catering to.
That's more marketing to the emotion, tapping into the emotion rather than, because the emotion is the culture as well. You know what I'm saying? You are the culture. Whoever you tap into, it's gonna, skin color right now don't matter. You understand what I'm saying? Culture, skin color, the culture is created once you put it out and you tap into those.
So culture isn't skin color. That's a very important.
It's what it emanates out of you, and then the people that gravitate towards that, and then that's the culture that's created.
That's why I disagree with Umar Johnson about Eminem being can be considered, like he's a part of the culture. Like he's influenced hip hop. That's
the
a
reason
fact.
why Umar would say that is because who created that culture?
Who created the culture? Who does it emanate from
That's
first?
a fact.
That culture was frowned upon at one time.
But if we can create it, does that mean no one else could be a part of it?
That's not what you're saying.
He also didn't give back enough to the black community.
I think he's
like
talking
that.
about someone whose roots aren't black versus people who they came up, you know what I'm saying, black, grew up
But
black.
Eminem has helped to the culture.
when you really talk culture, you can't forget about the origins of it.
Right, that's a
The
fact.
history of it.
But Eminem has always paid respect to the culture. He's never said, I'm better than Rakim or fuck Biggie and Tupac. He's always appreciated and added to the culture as a white man, like as a white man
He's able to
could.
tap into the emotions of the people, the same way any way if our people would have did through music. Yeah.
Like basketball technically isn't our culture. Technically, it was created by a nigga with yeah, but it's our shit though. Like, cause we the best at it. So I feel like whoever's the leaders of the culture decide the culture. But if culture was only based on skin color, then it would mean, like to your point, if I only could market to black people, but again, my people, the culture isn't what I'm trying to market to them. Is that a disservice if I say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the white suburban kid over here, the Asian motherfucker over here, because I know that whatever I'm selling is gonna resonate with them. Does that make a nigga a sellout for not trying to, hey, yeah, I got the flyest shit, buy my shit? Because if my coach is telling me that I got to do that, but that's not what I'm marketing, what is the compromise?
I think culture, like, again, like you said, a white guy created basketball, but who really took that culture and turned to something else?
That's what I'm saying. What is culture then? Like, what is the definition of culture? Is it
who made it? It's a movement. Culture is like a movement, I guess
What
you would
does
say.
the
Like,
world follow the most? Who do they follow the most? We call it trends and shit like that, but it's deeper than that. It's like who sets precedent and then follow. You usually see it's like darker people.
so culture is like a way of life. Let's just say
It's all of it. It's way of life, how you dress, how you think.
right,
how you
almost like
speak.
a religion, a culture is basically like a set of a lifestyle.
Actual meaning of culture
So-
is just things that you do in like tradition.
Traditional values and things.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, like traditional values or just like certain holidays you celebrate or certain things, people that you hold in high esteem. So it's like that's your culture. Like if I'm alright, so I'm African. So if a nigga say like Afro beats or some shit, like yo, that's your culture. Like, yeah, but I don't fuck with it. So it's
It's
kind
a
of
part of the culture, but
yeah.
it isn't the whole
So
thing.
like some white people like racism is part of their culture, or like slavery. Like even though some of the white people might not have been, their ancestors might not have been slave owners, they could have just been regular people during the slavery time. They could just not have slaves, nothing. But that's part of their culture, whether they like it or not. So that's kind of how I look at it. Where it's like, yeah, like you don't got to be a part of that culture, but you're still. That's kind of like stereotyping, but you're still part of that. Yeah, it's a healthy stereotype, I feel like. It's like if I see a black nigga, I'm not automatically gonna see, yo, this nigga like hip hop. This nigga fuck with Nas.
More than likely, he might like hip hop.
You be like, alright, yo, bro, like, hey, what you fuck with? Oh, I like rock, alright, bet. Still nigga of the culture, you just ain't fuck with that at the time,
Right.
or whatever. So
Now this brings us to segue into another subtopic what we talking about, which is what is black culture? We need to have a concrete understanding of what is black culture. Is it just hip hop? Is it gang banging? Like, what is black culture from black people's perspective, not the media? So we gonna go around. We're gonna start Moose. Moose, what is your definition of black culture?
definition of black culture, that's actually a good question, I feel. Because it really. So we gonna talk from perspective of New Yorkers.
Yeah.
So-
New York.
Cause this down south culture or west coast culture,
Right,
you
that's
you
a
niggas
New
in the
York-
north, like Midwest and all that shit. So like New York culture is kind of hard nosed, not hard headed, but get it out the mud. Trendy, dress well. New York is kind of a money capital or the money capital. So New York is just naturally. It's naturally a good look. Like anywhere you go, like people are gonna recognize you're from New York and you have that New York accent. So just you being born here, like the way you talk, I say honestly, New York culture is kind of like examining everything. Like you walking down the street and you're just surveying your surroundings, but not it could be in a negative way, but also in a positive way. It's like, all right, so I'm on this block. I'm seeing everybody here, people watching, kind of just minding your business and going about your day. New York is kind of a friendly city, but it's really not. So during the day, people see New Yorkers aren't friendly, but New York culture is really just being focused.
Moose, to cut you off, specifically, like not New York culture, but black people in New York's culture. As a black person, a colored person, what defines you as either successful or not in the context of New York?
What defines you?
What is a successful nigga in New York? Other black people consider a successful nigga in New York, and unsuccessful.
So
And this is gonna bring it to a whole back to the business topic.
unsuccessful off rip is just kind of.
We know what it
Yeah,
is.
the
Just say it.
nigga you see on the corner every day, or just somebody that you see just posted up. in the same spot.
A nigga ain't getting no money. You
Yeah,
unsuccessful.
yeah, basically, like you not like you sitting
Who's gonna
around,
bring the bigger point around?
but act successful is kind of somebody where you just like you always see them on the move. Like, where you going? I'm gonna go to work real quick. And every time you see them, they always got something on. They in uniform or they just wearing their regular like day-to-day gear.
I agree.
So successful because it could be niggas looking bummy to work, and then when it's time to dress up, they'll come out in some shit.
And they take care of their responsibilities.
That too. So if like
that's what black code. Yeah, that's
it's basically like handling what you gotta handle. So if you know, all right, I got this court shit I gotta handle. I got this family issue I gotta handle. All right, I'm gonna handle that. Then I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I'm not gonna cast that to the side and just, I guess, waste away type shit. So successful would be kind of being able to multitask. That's how people, I guess, people will see New Yorkers act successful. As we see each other act successful, black people. Being able to multitask. Yo, this nigga got 2 jobs, 6 kids. This nigga living right in the same building as me. Feel me? I only see him maybe like when I'm coming home 3 in the morning. Nigga always got energy. Yo, what's good, bro? Everything like it's never on some. Like, everybody's gonna have their days, but I just feel like people see people successfully as the way they carry themselves. Honestly.
Now, McCoy, same question. What do you define black culture as a black New Yorker?
So, I just think straight up black culture is creativity,
I was gonna say style.
trendsetters, like we said, emotional people, you know, stern, hard-headed people, full of energy, full of life, beautiful people, and yeah, that's black culture. I'll leave it at that.
Now, what is unsuccessful, considered unsuccessful in black culture? Someone who's not of the culture, who fails at being a part of the culture.
When I think of somebody's unsuccessful, I think of people just, now nobody's perfect, but you know, when people fall into the stereotypes of gangbanging, killing people, and
Fucking up our community.
fucking up a community, just
Yeah,
fucking up yourself and shit like that,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Really, you know, because you're a representation of everyone. That's why the culture is like, yo, how you carry yourself is very important. You know what I mean? Like,
Shout out to Nipsey, man.
people could be very ignorant and judge you based off the one person that they met, and you could just be feel me? What's the name for it? How they view a person. Like, if they have a black person, they meet a black person, on some ghetto crazy shit, you know,
Stereotype.
they'll stereotype them, and then that's how they think all black people act.
Right.
It's like, nah, that's just how you met that person, you know what I mean? So, that's when you harming the community. That's when you being unsuccessful.
Right. You're not representing us. You're not being diplomatic.
You know what I mean?
You know, when you go into other places, you representing the black nation. And you gotta hold it down.
Because black culture, bro, goes way far back, bro. Hardworking
yeah.
people, bro. You feel
Yeah.
me? Invented shit real. When I think of black culture, I think of like black men that get his shit done, you know what I mean?
Right.
Business, you know what I mean? We used to have businesses and shit like that. Like, yeah.
Sacrifice.
Oh boy. Now, Elvin, as an Afro-Latina specifically,
Latino.
a black man that speaks Spanish, what is your definition of black culture as a black New Yorker?
Growing up, I've seen a lot of old, yeah. I gotta process the thoughts and stuff. But I've seen a lot of misguidance in terms of like let's say in the streets, for instance, you'll have older people telling the younger generation to do certain things that they would necessarily do, but they wouldn't. So they'll have these kids doing it, and it's the same cycle, repetitive. I've seen. I'm 27. I'll go back just to touch base, and they're doing the same things when I was young. So it's like, okay, they, rather than giving us the information we need, we don't have the proper role models. tools. You know what I'm saying? So
Passing down bad information.
yeah, bad information, back from bad like sources and stuff like that. And we're ignorant. It's true. A lot of us grow up not having that. Like, yeah, we do believe in God, but how is it told to us? You know what I'm saying? How do we, we'll believe but still do the same fucked up shit, go outside, be detrimental to our community? Not necessarily because we all want to be like that, but some people just live every day like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know or see the other side of things. But that goes, like, for me, when I slowed down and started like sitting back reading about like the Che Guevara's, Marcus Garvey, I'm not gonna sit and say like I'm the best. I made mistakes. I made plenty of mistakes. But when I learned that all of our people, whether you're Latino or Black, we've been fighting for freedom, for resources. So yeah, it is a self-esteem issue, and it is a lack of resources. Not because we don't. It's like not because we can't go out there and get it. It's because of that. Like, who told us we can't? Like, you get what I'm saying? Who told us? We know who told us that. You know what I'm saying? But who also took, like we were saying earlier, Mansa Musa. He owned what? They say conquered the 7 seas, the 7 continents before Christopher Columbus. And we're taught history starts with Christopher Columbus. So that's a deep rooted whitewashing that we have. Shit, even to this day, I feel at times where I want to go out and just, let me go have a good day. You know what I'm saying? But I start thinking about the things I go through, how that's not only just me, it's my ancestors. I'm not the only person, the first, the last. So you got to get past that. And then also know, like, damn, how do I use whatever I went through in life, rather than being the bad role model or the OG, go tell this kid, whatever. Or just, like you said, be the example, the representation with the things that I went through. You know what I'm saying? Personally, and the information. So it's balancing all of that. I feel like that's our culture. It's the ability to, we have fashion, we can make music, we can make art, but it's our ability to conceptualize all of those things and bring it down for people to understand and share it. Like, that's why I don't like, when it come to money, when it come to fun, I used to be big on like getting the clothes, going to sneaker lines, Hype Beast, Supreme, fucking jackets, clothes, you know what I'm saying? Mermots, Pels, fucking BB belts. I came from that too. But I also realized the trap in that. You get those things, now somebody want to set you up for having that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of envy and jealousy in it, bro. You know what I'm saying? People want what you have, or we go online, we see what other people have, and then we like, damn, why I don't got that? You get what I'm saying? And that shit is deep rooted because of slavery, the lack of us not knowing our true identities and who we are. So yeah, like I was sitting down listening, and it does come to that, bro. And we are the next up, like what he was saying. We are the role models now. We the ones that when we go out, they look at us and they whatever we do, they're now like, that's the whole. You get what I'm saying? You represent the whole. When really we are individuals that represent each other as a whole, but we forget that too. Like, nah, like I'm me. Like, I'm an individual part of this culture. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I used to always say, like, yo, whatever you do, like even right now, that's the culture. You Black already, bro. They can't take that from you. You understand what I'm saying? You already who you are and was destined to be. You feel me? Or whether you Black or not, whoever you reach to. Like you said, Eminem, you're not Black, but he reached to us. He just spoke and said whatever he had to say, and it reached us. You get what I'm saying? So that's the point. As long as you do that and you know, like you said, your intentions, then whoever buy your shit, it was meant for them to get it. Whoever gravitates to you, it was meant for them to gravitate to you. You feel me? But in terms of like scaling and stuff like that, that's where we need the money to, like, all right, now I know who I'm targeting. Now let me get money so I can like scale this, get it in their hands. You know what I'm saying? Commercialize it, whatever, stuff like that. Yeah, that's my take.
Yeah. Now, everyone has such good points, and this is how we're gonna bring it all back. Now, mind you, what everybody just said, right? Now, the main thing that I noticed that as black culture, let's go through history, at least in America, if we go through each stage of black culture, the top times we was at. First, it started off with slavery, right? That was our culture, being slaves in America, right? Then after we was freed with the Emancipation Proclamation and everything like that, we became politicians, abolitionists, Frederick Douglass and the abolitionist movement, and we became political. We had a political culture. You feel me? A lot of black people up until 1920 was voting Republican because that was the party that freed the slaves. The party was about progressing the rights of black people in America. So a lot of black people was forced to adopt that as their culture because it related to their everyday life, right? Now, once we fast forward to the 40s and 50s, we get into the Harlem Renaissance, where culture for black people was as artists, right? So our creativity, our style, that was what we expressed ourselves in America, and that's how we compared ourselves to others, because people before that didn't believe black people was creative, so we proved them wrong, right? Now, political, artistic, right? And then what happened after the artistic movement? We had drugs and gangbanging, right? Now, the reason this is important is because if you notice in black history, whether there's a politician, a creative person, a businesswoman or anything, we do not have proper business etiquette. We don't know how to start businesses that are sustained in the black community, because once we start it, it either fails or a white person put a tag on it and we buy it out. So the one thing missing out of black culture that I've noticed everybody at this table pretty much has agreed with is that business has not been a part of black culture. It's always been style, something about how we're able to create a vibe or an aura that people might want to imitate or steal from. But it's never about how to monetize that for generational wealth for our families. And that's the important part, is that every culture, if we look at the Asian man, the Indian man, the white man, every type of culture outside of black people understands the value of starting and maintaining businesses so that their families in the future can eat. Now, I feel like the whole topic, the reason I was saying all this was going to come back full circle was because going back to the first point that we was talking about, do we not start businesses because of a lack of resources, or do we not start businesses because of a lack of self-esteem that we believe we can make businesses? Now, the reason I ask this is because when other cultures come to America and they see black people here, they say, damn, these black people been here for 400 plus years and these niggas ain't got no business sense. We come here, first generation Asian man, we start Chinese restaurants and all this shit. We send money back home, everything good. But then they see us and they like, why are these people just consumers? The problem with black culture, as I see it fit now, is that we have a consumerism culture. We're not taught to create and to sell. We're taught to look for and buy shit. And then, hey, look at me, I got this shit on, you ain't got it. And then we have style wars based on what we consume. Look at my 42 inch, you ain't got that, nigga, haha, 22 inch rims, nigga. That's our culture, for lack of a better understanding, until we begin to graduate into business sense. Now, the reason I wanted to make this the main point was because, again, black people, we never have a lack of bright ideas. We never have a lack of, yo, man, what if a nigga created a microwave that could wash your ass at the same time? Yo, great idea, nigga, yeah. But either we don't have the people around us that believe that we could do some shit like that to support us, or two, we don't even know where to begin to get funding for it. So this is why both sides is true. We do have a combination of a lack of self-esteem towards it, as well as a lack of resources, because America doesn't want our culture to be entrepreneurial. Because if black people was entrepreneurial, that would mean black people is independent of needing the help and assistance of other people, aka the man, to help us sustain a proper family structure and give ourselves generational wealth. So with that being said, now I want to ask one last question before we coming up at the hour mark. We at the 45-minute mark. So I want to go around in a circle and ask each one of us at this table, if you had would you give your son a consumerism ideology? This is like not talking about politics or religion or ethno geographic shit. We talking about consumerism versus entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurism. What would you tell your son and teach your son, and why? Being a consumer or being an entrepreneur?
That's easy.
Easy.
Definitely entrepreneur, because that's more on that's more on you're following what you want to do instead of a trend. I'll say that. You being a consumer, you kind of following what's drawing your eye at the moment, or what's popular to you or to your friends at certain times. So I feel like definitely being an entrepreneur, you're gonna have a better mindset on one, how the world works, two, on how to kind of understand how you want to navigate in life. I guess in a simpler way to say it. And yeah, I feel like you're gonna have more free reign on what you want to do with your life as an entrepreneur instead of a consumer, because you're gonna be subject to whatever is popular at the time, or whatever you think that you're gonna like forever.
So under no circumstances do you think it's beneficial to teach your son to be a consumer over an entrepreneur?
No, because you can always learn how to be a consumer after, you can learn how to be a consumer while being an entrepreneur. Because
Right.
you're gonna assume, or I'm assuming you're gonna do your research on what people like to consume.
In order to be a better entrepreneur.
Exactly. So you're basically paying both sides. You're just doing the entrepreneur side first.
Right.
You're not gonna start buying shit and then be like, all right,
I just
40
want to buy it just to buy it.
yeah, 40 years and I see how they did this shit. All right, but now,
Like, oh, that's what niggas buy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna create something so niggas can buy my shit.
like, we seen, like, even what's his name, Kulika, the nigga that be doing the like, he be doing J's and shit, but he got the Thunder logo, the lightning logo. You seen him before, but like him, he was like, yo, Jordans, I could just make like a similar style with my own twist to it, and this shit was killing, selling out everything. And even CIA or Sia Collective, whatever his name is, I forgot his name, but he be making kicks that, and he ended up getting sued by Nike because they were similar to their style of shoe, their silhouette. So it's like, all right, I see what niggas is buying. I can make my own style. I mean, it look like y'all shit, but legally it's not. So, for me, yeah, y'all can't sue me. Even though y'all can keep suing me, it's going to just back me up, because I'm going to have to keep paying the lawyer fees and all that. But it's like, yeah, like, I'm selling it for cheap. I'm not selling it for $210 like y'all selling. I'm selling my shit $120, $130.
So it sounds like you saying, you actually giving some good advice. You basically saying, to be a great entrepreneur, you have to think as a consumer, which is a great point. You feel me? Because I never heard of that.
Man,
Because
Shark Tank.
if you could step into the mind of a consumer, then you can know exactly what business you want to create in order to satisfy that need. And it's funny enough, because Elvin had a note. He had a little notebook where we used to take notes like years ago. So I'm going through his notebook and I seen him. He said, yo, as a business, you have to find out what people need and create a product that satisfies that need. And in order to, and it sounds like what you're saying, in order to do that, you have to research what is the consumer's consumer, right? So it sounds like they teach us how to be consumers, but they leave out the other part, which is, all right, now that you know what niggas want to buy, now create something that niggas could buy from.
And then that's going to be competition.
Supply and demand.
Exactly. Wait, why they don't teach us that, Moose?
It's going to be competition. So basically, if I make Gucci belts, or if I just make belts, right, and then a company higher up sees my belts and it's just like, those are nice belts, but yeah, his business is booming, we could just copy that and then just charge more, and we could just we basically gonna steal from him, steal the idea, and then do what we have to do to gain his market. So yeah. I feel like that'll be the same thing as you being a consumer first. Like, I see, like, you always gonna have to see what other people are doing regardless.
Because if you a consumer, you're not a threat to the producer.
You the nigga we selling to.
Exactly.
Or you the person we selling to.
Exactly. Perfect. McCoy. Thank you. I'm gonna send you this shit when you're done, bro.
I like you, my boy.
Yes.
I'm gonna feel back. Appreciate you.
All right, bet. So before I pass it to Elvin, yo, that is a great, because it really just dawned on me. I'm like, damn, wait, if they taught us how to be entrepreneurs, there would be more competition in the entrepreneurial world. But if you just keep us at being consumers, just eating cattle, like fucking cows on a ranch, just eating some shit all day, and a nigga don't ever think, yo, I could own my own farm. A cow don't get up and say, damn, I could own this shit too. So it's funny because again, they've made our culture rely on consumerism and competitiveness. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna be the first one to get these J's. And then once I get these J's, I'm gonna be like, I got the new J's, you ain't got them, nigga. So it's consumerism combined with competitive nature. They combine the two, and that's what they give us as our culture. And then because they know we are stylistic people. We like things of style. We want to be like, oh, this is my style. This is my version of how I put a twist on it. I put the Jordans on with the certain hoodie with the button-up zipper. You ain't do it like me. They know that's our culture. But instead of them teaching us how to capitalize or monetize that, they keep us as consumers to keep us competing with one another over shit that they're selling to us. So they don't give a fuck. Because no matter how hard we compete with each other, none of us is going to be a threat to them because they're the seller, we're the buyer. And that's all they want it to be.
Wait, hold on. You know what's a better example of that? Remember during the pandemic when the Popeye sandwich dropped?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Bro, once Popeyes dropped their sandwich and had the whole world in a frenzy,
Oh my goodness.
McDonald's had a chicken sandwich.
Everybody
had a chicken sandwich. So that just goes to, like, you never see these commercials where it's like, all right, one fast food dropping some shit. Then 2 days later you see another one. Oh, they dropping a fish sandwich too. They just dropped, McDonald's just dropped one yesterday. Oh, Burger King got I didn't even know these niggas had. And so now you seeing, all right, it's either planned or it's some shit. Cause it's no way, these niggas just dropped this shit. Week later, we need one. Bacon chicken sandwich, spicy. We need that.
That's entrepreneur competitiveness. But they okay with that because there's only 4 other niggas doing it.
Exactly.
Now, you had 100 niggas making chicken sandwiches. Then they go like, oh shit, we gonna have to make a jumbo chicken sandwich, some shit. They gonna have to keep expanding it.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, as black people, remember that our culture, they've given us the culture of competitive consumerism. Can you be the first person to get this TV? Can you be the first person to buy these Jordans when they drop? And if you do, you win. You're a winner. You're the best. You're the top dog in your hood. Instead of saying, hey guys, you know what kind of style y'all like? How about y'all guys create businesses and you compete for who can outsell each other's business? They don't make us be competitive in entrepreneurship. They make us be competitive in consumerism. And that just shows you how they view us. They don't want us to be at the table giving off shit. They want us to be coming to the table to hand them some money. So that's a very important distinction to make. So Alvin, with all that being said, what are your thoughts on them programming us to be consumers and not entrepreneurs? As a former entrepreneur, by the way.
I feel like,
well, as an entrepreneur, I should say.
yeah. The first question was, what would you teach your son, right?
Oh yeah. Would you teach your son consumerism or entrepreneurship, and why?
Of course, entrepreneurship. I've been a consumer my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Most of us are just born into that and don't know what's going on. Like I was saying, it's a lot of competition when it comes to that, and most of it is to keep us divided, slaves to their companies. That's the new slavery, you know what I'm saying? Modern day slavery. So if you can teach your son or your kin how to see those things and how to create a business where they're monetizing, making a profit from it, but they're also giving back. Like I remember reading Think and Grow Rich a few years ago, and it's like how to sell to people. There was a certain part in the book where it was like, you wouldn't give an Eskimo a painting in the middle of, Alaska. Why would you do that? You would give them a gun so they can hunt for a bear or for a buffalo, turn that buffalo into food, and then use the fur for warm blankets and stuff like that for their family. So it's knowing, like we were saying, knowing how to sell and knowing what you want to sell and making sure it benefits your people. You're not just selling things just to make a profit from it.
selling to people's needs instead of towards what you
Yeah,
think.
like the emotional, like we were saying, like rather than selling, like just thinking just culture, because when you think just culture,
That's like wants.
yeah, wants. But when you think about like what do people like emotionally need, like when you think
Food,
they're
clothing,
yeah,
shelter, warmth.
yeah, and that's when you can like create things around that for us to one, we're enabling them. You know, let's say you do health, let's say you do shelter, any of those things, you're enabling them, you're giving them things for their future, and you put a ladder there for them to see like, yo, you can go up this corporate ladder too. You know what I'm saying? Like in most businesses, like we were talking about earlier, managers don't tell you that. It's compartmentalism for a reason. You got the employee, the assistant manager, the boss, all of that is separated for a reason. But if you know like the in-betweens, you'll definitely be able to thrive. Whether I say, because you determine your success based on like when you compete with others, you're only using that to see like in terms of like if you're in the green, if you're in the red, you're not using it to overall like, oh, I'm doing this because my competitor, I want to get him out of here. It's like, yeah, I'm only just looking at what they have to see how do I adjust. Yeah, because as times change, you want to be able to change with those things. Like let's say new inventions come out, but you can change with that. You want to do that. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to grow, because eventually you'll go back into consumerism if you don't like elevate or grow. And I feel like
nigga who made the Atari is like, nobody gonna come out with this. This is the be all end all of video games. And then look.
But that's how like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, they every year is like a new system. Every 3 years is some new shit dropping. But that's like for more to like monopolizing shit. You know what I'm saying? We trying to pour into our community and make money that way. So yeah, you could grow big like that too, but you're not depending on how far you want to go, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? Or you could, like you said, what is the purpose? Yeah. Right. Rather start with one small store for like 5 years than one day, like he said, that one person you just helped come back like, yo, I remember that one time you just helped me for this whole year. Yo, look, I'm trying to help you open 10 more stores. You know what I'm saying? It's like that shit hit different than you like, I need 10 stores right now. Like, you get what I'm saying? Let me get 10 stores right now. And you can't even control upkeep with like inventory. You know what I'm saying? You can't manage every single thing. You want to be able to control or have, like we were saying, ownership, control over what we can, and then little by little grow that. Because I've tried that, going all out. Let me do everything. Look, like with family and business, the first business I started, I wanted to do like 3 different things. You know what I'm saying? The cool thing about it was when I first started, like, I remember as great Moosey, he helped me, bro, like make the tees, the shirts, his cousin as well. That was my first thing, was like, yo, I want to help people stay warm. You know what I'm saying? People need clothes. If I got enough sweaters in the crib and I could give them out, I'm gonna give out like 1 or 2. You get what I'm saying? Every time I get shipment. And then it went from that, from being like, all right, let me go outside and just meet people. And it's like, yo, yeah, blah, blah, like that. You'll start like, yo, I know a spot where you could do a show, where you could do it. Like, word? Like, yeah, bro, for free. You like, yeah, that shit is crazy. And then you're now creating a community somehow, like a network.
So that proves to you that if you believe you can do it, the doors will open, the resources will open.
You just gotta put yourself out there. It is scary, bro. Like I said, you're not gonna think that could happen. Whether your goal is, all right, let me get 10 hoodies or 100, and let me go out there and sell those 10. That first 10, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I just did it. And you're like, oh, I gotta go out there and try it again. You get what I'm saying? But that's good when you're doing it for the right things. Like, yo, I'm doing this shit. I got a business. I'm going. Like the first thing I ever, like outside of that, doing hand-to-hand transaction. I remember the first time I closed a deal, Moosey and his cousin helped me close that. Like, we were sent an invoice from a school. They gave us a budget to use. So that was the first time I was scared. I ain't gonna front, because I'm like, oh shit, I'll call Moosey, call it his cousin, like, how we do this, bro? Like, They're going to give us the bread. We can close this out. We could potentially keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen where we could have kept going, but it was on some like, yo, bro, let's go to different schools and see what you could do. You obviously know how to talk to them, and they're going to give you that. I said, bro, all I did was ask. It wasn't no, yo, let me sit there. Hey, I have a great idea, business. Nah, it was like, yo, look, I saw the kids needed like shirts and warm-up jerseys. I grew up, I remember my coach did that for me, and then I realized, oh, these kids didn't have that. I was just an assistant coach. So sometimes presenting the idea is all you need, bro. The money and all that come after. You just gotta bring it to the, like where we are right now, to the table, to the market, the table. And then after that, the first time I brought it up was, all right, let me see your designs. Let me see what you could come up with. Boom. I hopped on it 2 days. It wasn't even a day. I bet, let me show the first one. All right, that's pretty dope. What else can y'all come up with? Now she's sending me the logos that we need to put on the shirt, to like the school logo, the Board of Education logo, like stuff like that, where it's like, all right, you need to have this on there because it's property of like the school, you know, legalities and stuff like that. So now I'm like, oh shit, I'm now learning shit that I was just sitting there, bro. I'm not even saying too much. I'm like, oh, I got this idea, this thing. She'll ask me questions. I'll bring the person to her that she needed. And eventually, yo, it went from that to I have $3,000, $4,000 you have to use. It kept getting lesser or whatever. Like it kept going up or down depending on, it's weird, like it's their mood too. Like you gotta incorporate that. Like you're dealing with their mood, you're dealing with the business side of things, and you also got to make sure all parties, if you're dealing with that, all their needs are met. You get what I'm saying?
So would you agree you never know someone's needs until you ask them?
Until you ask, until you say, or until you present your great idea. What you might think is little might be a great idea to everyone else, bro. Like for instance, I thought, yo, making those kids jersey, ain't nobody gonna care. Yo, Miss B, I grew up having jerseys, warm-up jerseys. We used to take them off, right? Walk into the gyms and other schools, even in our school, take them off, have the uniform underneath, and it would be dope. It felt like we was part of like a real like college, you know what I'm saying, event or some shit. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh shit, that's pretty dope. Then we brought it to the kids, the parents. Everyone was like, oh shit, that's fire. Like, yeah, we'll pay y'all too. Like, we'll give $20 to each kid for them to have their own jerseys and stuff like that. So it's like, that was the first time, and I ain't gonna lie, I haven't did anything of that type of caliber since, but I know like, we capable of that. It ain't no, you could go to a regular cafe store right now, and if you know how to design something, shirts, you got a painting, you got a song that relates to their type of setting, you just go to them and be like, yo, look, I got a band that's willing to play music, but you gotta at first, this shit free. Like, I'm not thinking of no money. I'm thinking of me growing as well, but through your, you know what I'm saying? That's how we eliminate like at least for our part, I think it's looking at us like, yo, why I think y'all trying, nah, we not stepping on nobody's toes. We making sure y'all eat, we eat, you know what I'm saying? But that's a competitive world. There's no such thing as like you doing that and niggas gonna come and not disagree with how you doing things. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how I look at it. You could go to any business, anything with a great, even if you think it's a little idea, you go to them and tell them it. Like, I remember his cousin did shirts for Melba's. You get what I'm saying? He just went up to them, yo, I could design shirts for y'all. And they end up using it. Bad. Dr. Umar be like, focus up.
Yeah, that's the Umar right there. Beautiful.
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 Yeah, but that's my take on it. I do believe in like teaching us to, that's how we become better. Like, you get what I'm saying? If our economy is good, our people is good, less poverty, less things going on, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like family issues too. You know what I'm saying? government, political. If there's money flowing within our community, and not just money, we know the money is like, it tells what's happening. It's paper trail. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, what they said about the dollar, when it's in our hand, how fast it leaves and goes back into their hands. It's like 10 seconds. When you get paid, you're already giving your money out to their other cultures. Yeah, so yeah, that's my take, man.
Now, that's perfect. 105. Now to wrap it up, now this is a very important topic because again, we're not taught to be entrepreneurs for a reason. This is something that Musi and El just expounded off of myself, is that I realized, look, our culture, there's a reason why entrepreneurship is not the center of our culture when it's in the center of every other culture's culture. Every other culture, they want us to believe it's religion and politics. But really, everything is economically driven. Your political view, economically driven. Your religious view, economically driven. The reason that whatever culture you come from, the governments of them cultures or that religion make a lot of money. The Pope makes a lot of money. It makes a lot of money. The Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Kingdom makes a lot of money. The nation of Israel makes a lot of money. These are worth hundreds of billion dollar nations that are centered around religious and political ideas. But the followers of these said political and religious institutions are broke. Specifically, even more so, black people. We are the number one religious people. We are the number one, I got something to say people, but we have no money because they don't make that a part of our culture. Because with money,
literacy, bro.
exactly, with financial literacy, you can make change. And that's what they don't want. They want us to stay the same. Financial literacy and actual just basic reading comprehension. That's why Frederick Douglass said, once you are able to read, you can no longer be a slave, because then you can start writing your own checks. Then you can start writing your own constitutions, your own law books. This is why keeping us away from creating our own environment has been used against us for this entire time. Because black people, pound for pound, what they say, we have the highest spending power of everybody in the United States, yet we only make up 10 to 15% of it. That makes no fucking sense unless we've been taught the wrong shit. So with Elvin has kids. So especially that, this is why I asked the question, if you had to teach your child entrepreneurship versus consumerism, which one? Now Musi made a good point, because I didn't think you would balance them, but he understood exactly the main point, is that if you're gonna learn how to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn how consumers think. And the number one person to study, ironically, is black people, because we are the number one consumers of shit with no entrepreneurship backup. So it's not like we buy shit based off of, hey, if I buy this, I can invest this later on for my family. But we mostly buy shit based off of emotion. Oh, I like that. I like that. Right. We don't think about liability versus assets. We just think about, I like this shit, I'm gonna buy it even if it's a liability. If it might be an asset, even better. You know what I mean? I buy a fucking nice car, might come back later, I can sell it later. But that's not the predominant mindset. So hopefully with this episode of the podcast, you guys will understand that entrepreneurship should be a part of black culture. Political understanding should be about a part of black culture. Religious understanding should be about black culture. But they're all three one and the same. Do not separate all three, like how the United States say, oh, we got to separate church from state. No. This government was founded by Christians. The laws was founded by Christian values. And the economy is driven by Christian values. For the white man version, they believe whatever they created is ordained by God to succeed, and that everybody else should buy their shit, and that's why they created capitalism. Whatever we make, that shit is the hot shit. Buy it, or if not, you missing out. That's what America been lasting on for the past 100 years. Even if it's not the case, even though most of our shit is outsourced, coming from other countries now, the belief in America is strong. And let's go back to the point. The belief is strong enough to make money for America. If you just believe America is still the best country, if you believe it makes the best products, that alone makes people buy and drive our fucking economy, even though it's not the case. Even though China's economy is way more stable than ours, even though they want us to believe it is, and the economy, no, it's not. All of our debt is controlled by China. There's not enough money in two worlds If God created two different worlds, there's not enough money in the soil and gold, the silver, or resources to pay off the fucking what? $60 trillion debt we in China? There's no money in more that could pay that off. So like the Bible said, the debtor is the debtor is enslaved to the lender. You feel me? So we technically slave to China according to King Solomon at least. So yes, y'all, on a closing note, teach entrepreneurship to yourself and your family and pass that shit on. That's a part of our culture. It's not just style and being competitive in the style. It's being competitive in business. Be a competitor in business and see how that work out for y'all. So good night, good morning, good afternoon. Peace to y'all. This is Malik Assad.
El Chapo, man.
Some Moosey right here.
Yes, God bless y'all, man. We see y'all next episode.
I feel like it's